other people who you expected to still come. The driver was there, so you're not talking about the driver. Tell us about the other people.
As I mentioned, FSL and media license and the photographer LCRC, they said it's already been called.
Witness you get there and you've got drugs that are in a van, which we know is unmarked. You don't think anything is wrong with that? When they tell you that...
That's why I asked.
Yes, and I see you asked, and they told you that they opened the truck and the bags fell from the truck. That's why they were kept on the police bakkie. They fell from the truck, not into the bakkie. You didn't see anything wrong with that. They took those drugs that fell out of the truck, they took them and they put them in a bakkie, in an unmarked bakkie that belongs to Zonke Zizwe police station, driven by Mahane, who is a desk-bound person. At that point, you didn't see anything wrong with that?
No, I knew it was wrong. That's why I mentioned earlier that statement was going to be needed on reason why it was put in a police bag.
When I say you didn't see anything wrong with that, I'm asking you didn't think that conduct is suspicious?
No, I took it, he didn't know how to handle a crime scene, because you don't move things which are exhibit on the matter.
When you say...
leave them as they are.
Yes. When you say he didn't know how to handle a crime scene, who? Pakula, Warrant Officer Pakula, because you say he was in charge when you got there. So you decided that Warrant Officer Pakula doesn't know how to handle a crime scene. That's why these things are on the bakkie.
No, when I asked why were they on a bakkie, he informed me that he was told they fell from a bakkie. Whoever told him they fell from a bakkie is the one I refer, not knowing how to handle a crime scene.
Thank you.
Okay, can I ask you this? In paragraph 23 of your statement on page 8, you describe yourself as an experienced investigator. And then you say,
yes,
you say what your observations at the scene were, you set them out. Why do you not set out that your observations at the scene were that Mahane, Pakula, and Mashaba did wrong things that don't comply with the prescripts? Why do you not mention that in your statement? Forget the reason, they may have been inexperienced, but why do you not in your statement mention that these are the things that they did that were wrong? Why do you not mention them?
I don't know, Commissioner, why I didn't mention that. Because I believe I mentioned the actions that happens afterwards then.
No, but I'm asking about...
Not what
I'm asking you about your observations. You are an experienced investigator. You arrive at the scene and you see that 27 bags are loaded onto a van. And you've confirmed to Commissioner Baloyi that that is not correct. Why do you not mention in your statement that what you observed there, which Mahano, Pakula, and Mashaba were doing, were incorrect and not in accordance with the prescripts?
No, I don't know, Commissioner, why I didn't mention that.
You see, this is what leads to the suspicion that you were going there to cover up for them. Because the next thing you say is you abuse the DPCI generals and the CI generals of rank abuse of power. That's what you say. You say, my observations at the scene indicated potential abuse of power and rank, and the reasons remain unclear. You are completely silent on the improper conduct of Makhane, Pakula, and Mashaba. In fact, you are the one who advises them to go to IPID and open a case. And that's how they end up opening a case. But you say nothing about their conduct. And thus you create the impression that their conduct was proper. It's the people who interfered with what they were doing that were acting improperly. And the question is why? Why do you do that?
Maybe I should have stipulated, Commissioner, that also their conduct was improper by removing the bags. I didn't state it in my statement. I should have stated it.
You say in paragraph 24 that you were concerned that the actions of the generals appeared to be an effort to protect both the driver of the truck found with the drugs and to obscure the origin of the vehicle and its contents. Are you saying this because you were suspecting the driver to be guilty of an offense? If so, what was the basis of your suspicion?
Yes, with experience, Commissioner, driver of trucks, always they say they don't know anything of the contents of the truck they are driving. But whereas they are knowledgeable and they know what they are transporting.
This system this rip-on, rip-off system of consigning or sending drugs to a consignee, do you know exactly how it works, or don't you?
I have a slight idea, Commissioner.
I'm sorry?
I have a slight idea.
A slight idea. So are you saying in that system drivers are always aware of what's happening? I'm not saying they I'm not saying they don't. I just want to know from you whether you are saying they are always aware.
Most of them, Commissioner.
And how do you know how do you know this? Because I think one question before you said that you know very little. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So how do you know that most of them do know that they are actually delivering, or the truck they are driving is transporting drugs being sent or consigned through the rip-on, rip-off system? How do you know that? That most of them, underline most, are aware?
Yeah, in that they pretend as if they are not knowledgeable, whereas they are.
Now that reasoning is what secateurs, because I want to know how you say that, especially that you are saying most of them know. Now you are just saying they pretend. That's not answering the question. Why and how? Why do you say that? How do you know? My sense is that you don't have much experience with the rip-on, rip-off system. So how do you say? Am I wrong that you don't have much experience with it?
Yes, Commissioner.
You do not.
Yes.
Now, how can you say that most of the drivers in this system, all manner of conveyance, do know, that is the drivers do know. How do you say that? You've not answered that question yet. Bear in mind that you say that you have very little experience of this.
Considering previous scene where the driver, like the container which was arrested in 2020, the drivers, they did know what the contents of what they had on the boat.
They did not know. They knew. And this is one.
Yes.
And this is one incident in 2020. This is one incident in 2020.
Yes.
And you say most drivers from one incident. Is that how you draw your inference?
Or maybe I should not have mentioned most. I
So
should have
only-
said some.
Oh, no, not even some. All you know is this one driver. Correct? Is that correct, witness I?
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.